Breaking news from California. A 4.6 quake before dawn jolted millions awake. Here's what happened, why it matters, and what comes next. In the pre-dawn stillness of California, a moment of unsettling quiet hung in the air. For millions, sleep was deep and undisturbed. But that tranquility was about to be shattered. In an instant, the digital and physical worlds collided with a jarring, unwelcome intrusion. It began not with a tremor, but with a sound. A shrill electronic alarm piercing the silence from countless nightstands and bedside tables. This was the Shake Alert system, a modern marvel of seismic engineering, delivering a precious few seconds of warning directly into the hands of the public. Phones buzzed violently, a frantic haptic dance against wood and glass. For many, this digital pre-shock was their first indication that the ground beneath them was about to move. Then came the shaking. A low guttural rumble that grew into a distinct jolt. Beds swayed, windows rattled in their frames, and the familiar solid world suddenly felt unstable and treacherous. Across the Bay Area, from San Francisco down to San Jose, millions were jolted awake, their hearts pounding in the darkness, minds racing to process the dual assault of a blaring phone and a trembling home. In the immediate, disoriented aftermath, a single, terrifying question spread like wildfire through text messages and frantic social media posts. In the confusion of the moment, the mind grapples for an explanation. Was that an earthquake or something worse? The alert was for a quake, but the human mind, steeped in uncertainty, imagines other possibilities. An explosion? A different kind of disaster? The fear of the unknown is often more potent than the reality. Because just hours ago, the official confirmation began to roll in, solidifying the event that had just unfolded. A moderate but powerful magnitude, 4.6 earthquake had indeed struck the United States. Its epicenter located deep within the Santa Cruz Mountains, a region shadowed by the infamous San Andreas Fault. While not the big one that Californians perpetually fear, its location and intensity served as a stark and violent reminder of the immense geological forces constantly at play just beneath the surface. This wasn't just a random tremor. It was a data point, a warning shot from the planet itself. And as seismologists and geologists urgently analyze the data from this event, their initial findings are pointing towards a conclusion that is far more complex and concerning than a single isolated quake. What experts are saying next about the pressure building along this critical fault line might shock you. In the pre-dawn stillness of April 2nd, as Northern California slept, the ground beneath was anything but quiet. For most, it was just another Tuesday morning, the world shrouded in darkness, unaware of the immense geological forces silently building pressure miles below the surface. The San Andreas Fault System, a colossal scar running the length of the state, is a place of constant, imperceptible movement. But sometimes, that slow creep gives way to a sudden, violent release. At precisely 2:01 a.m., that release happened. A magnitude 4.6 earthquake struck. While not a major quake by California's formidable standards, a 4.6 is significant. It's an event strong enough to be a jarring wake-up call, a stark reminder of the ever-present seismic reality of the region. It's the kind of tremor that doesn't just rattle nerves, it rattles our sense of solid ground. The epicenter was located near the small community of Boulder Creek, nestled deep within the Santa Cruz Mountains. This area is a complex and fractured web of fault lines, a geologic battleground where the Pacific and North American plates grind against each other. The quake originated approximately 4 miles deep, a shallow depth that allows the seismic energy to travel more efficiently to the surface, amplifying its effects. But the impact wasn't confined to the mountains. The shaking radiated outward in waves, a ripple in a terrestrial pond. It was felt across a vast, densely populated area. In San Francisco, residents were jolted awake by a sharp, sudden shake. Across the bay in Oakland, it was described as a rolling motion, a brief moment of disorientation. In the heart of Silicon Valley, San Jose experienced a distinct jolt, rattling windows and setting off car alarms, Almost immediately, a digital wave followed the seismic one. Phones lit up, not with emergency alerts, but with the collective question, "Did you feel that?" Within minutes, the U.S. Geological Survey's "Did you feel it?" system was flooded with responses. That number quickly climbed, surpassing 10,000, then 20,000, eventually exceeding 25,000 individual reports from people across the Bay Area and beyond. This event wasn't just a geological data point. It was a shared, widespread experience, a sudden, collective moment of awareness that for millions of Californians, the ground beneath their feet is always on the move. It happened around 1:40 a.m., when most people were asleep. Suddenly, homes started shaking. Objects fell, pets panicked, and within seconds, emergency alerts were sent to phones across California. Some people got the warning, just moments before the shaking began. Initially, the earthquake was reported as even stronger. Early estimates suggested a magnitude above 5, but after analysis, it was confirmed at 4.6. That may not sound massive, but earthquakes at this level can still cause serious fear, especially in densely populated areas. In the immediate aftermath, a collective breath was held across the Bay Area. As the ground fell still, the first wave of information began to trickle in, and surprisingly, it was a wave of relief. Initial reports from city officials and first responders indicated no major structural damage and, most critically, no significant injuries. Fire departments from San Jose to Santa Cruz conducted their standard post-earthquake windshield surveys, rolling through neighborhoods to scan for hazards. Police helicopters with infrared cameras swept over the urban landscape, searching for signs of distress. Miraculously, they found none. The power grid, often the first casualty in a seismic event, held firm for most residents. The infrastructure, it seemed, had withstood the initial test. But the absence of widespread destruction is a deceptive measure of an earthquake's true impact. A magnitude 4.6 event is not a minor tremor. It is a significant release of tectonic energy, and its effects are felt far beyond what can be seen on the morning news. The real story of the quake wasn't in what collapsed, but in the shared experience of 1 million-plus people jolted awake in the dead of night. The impact wasn't structural, it was psychological. For those closest to the epicenter in the Santa Cruz Mountains, the experience was visceral. It began with a low, guttural rumble that seemed to rise from the very foundations of the earth, a sound many veterans of California quakes know all too well. Then came the jolt, a sudden violent shove followed by several seconds of sharp, rolling motion. Across the region, a familiar narrative unfolded in thousands of homes. Residents reported items thrown from shelves, picture frames knocked crooked, and the unsettling sound of their homes groaning under the strain. It was a sudden, terrifying intrusion into the quiet sanctuary of the night, a moment of pure chaos that left hearts pounding long after the shaking stopped. For many, it was a terrifying reminder of their vulnerability, a stark illustration that the solid ground beneath their feet is a mosaic of shifting tectonic plates. This event, while not catastrophic, served as a powerful, unwelcome dress rehearsal for the big one, the high-magnitude earthquake that seismologists agree is not a matter of if, but when. It underscored the reality that California sits precariously on one of the most active and complex fault zones in the world, a geological truth that can never be ignored for long. Here's where things get more serious. Experts say there is a strong chance of aftershocks. In fact, there's a high probability of smaller quakes this week. And while most aftershocks are minor, sometimes they can trigger even bigger events. Now the question everyone is asking, is this just the beginning? Experts say the chances of this being a warning sign are low, but not zero. California sits near major fault lines, including the San Andreas Fault. And history shows bigger earthquakes have followed smaller ones before. Social media exploded within minutes. People posting, "Did you feel that? My whole house just shook. That woke me up instantly." For many, it was a moment of pure shock. Right now, things seem calm again. But experts are watching closely, because earthquakes don't come with warnings. And the next one could be stronger. So the question is, are we prepared for what comes next?